Looks like we finally got some Kona N news here in the United States, so let's go ahead and cover it. So what's going on today, guys? I hope everybody is doing well. I know I've not made a video on the channel for quite some time, but Hyundai decided to just drop basically all the Kona N information here out of the blue. Hyundai was holding a Santa Cruz launch press event out in Santa Cruz, California, and I guess they decided to bring a Kona N as well and let the press experience it. So I would have been glad to be there. If anybody from Hyundai is watching and wants to get me behind the wheel of a Kona N, I'd love to, because I love my Elantra GT, and that is honestly the car that you guys are wanting to replace this. So I'd love to experience it for myself. So hit me up if you guys are willing to do that. But anyways, let's go ahead and cover the Kona N information, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on it as well. Now, we do not have pricing at this moment. I kind of expect it to come at the New York Auto Show, maybe just later this month, but according to Hyundai, I still think these are on track to be on dealer lots by the end of 2021. So without further ado, let's go ahead and cover the specs on the 2022 Kona N. So there's no need to cover things that we already know about this vehicle, but I will run through them really quickly. This is getting the 2-liter flat power, updated 2-liter turbocharged engine from the updated i30 overseas or the upcoming Veloster N. Produces 276 horsepower and 289 foot-pounds of torque in the Kona N and the Veloster N. It does have the N shift, which ups boost for about 20 seconds, and that bumps power up to 286 horsepower. So it's going to be a very powerful CUV in this segment. It's only going to be front-wheel drive paired with the 8-speed wet dual clutch. And of course, with all the other N cars, it's going to get the electronically controlled mechanical limited slip up front. It's going to get the electronically controlled dampers, the valved exhaust, and also the larger N brakes, which are 14.2-inch rotors in the front and 12.4-inch in the rear. This is actually about 0.6 inches bigger than the Veloster N rotors, but the same size as what the Elantra N will be getting. But otherwise, it gets the same N shift, N track sense, and all the other N bits that come on the new N models for the 8-speed wet dual clutch. So there's nothing new to really cover there. Now, one thing that did surprise me is the curb weight of the Kona N, and that comes in at 3,340 pounds. So this means that the Kona N is going to be less than 100 pounds heavier than the Veloster N dual clutch. So I realize that the Kona N is going to sit higher and ride higher and all that weight's going to be up higher, but in theory, this thing should perform very closely to what the Veloster N does, just due to the weight and the vehicle dynamics and everything itself. So I am very interested to see what the specs are on the Kona N and what people can achieve in the real world. I believe people in the Veloster N are getting 0 to 60 times in around 4.8, 4.9 seconds with the dual clutch. So I think the Kona N and the Elantra N, given that I think they're all going to be in the rough weight range of 200 pounds of each other, should perform all around that 5-second mark, 0 to 60, and everything like that. So it's great to see that the Kona N is actually relatively lightweight. I was expecting it to be closer to 3,500 pounds or 3,450. But nope, comes in at 3,340 for the curb weight. So like I said, if you guys are familiar with the N vehicles, that is basically all familiar stuff from the other N models and the upcoming N models. So there's nothing really new there. So let's go ahead and cover some of the features here on the Kona N. So in terms of paint colors, it's going to be Sonic Blue, Red, Black, and White. I believe will be the 4 colors offered here in the US. I don't think that is 100% confirmed, but I believe those are the 4 colors that will be available here in the US. In terms of wheels and tires, they all come with 19 by 8-inch wheels on 235/40 19-inch Pirelli P0 summer tires. I kind of wish they were the PS4s from Michelin, but I guess we're getting P0s on the Kona N. So in terms of features of the Kona N, it's basically going to be a mix of N-line trim and limited trim, but not exactly like one or the other. So in terms of what the Kona N will have, it will have LED headlights, LED taillights, and high beam assist. It will have gloss black mirror caps, as you can see from the exterior. It will have the body color exterior like the N-Line does. I think that looks way better than the black, plastic trim and molding on the outside of all the other CUVs on the market these days. It will not have rain sensing windshield wipers that the Limited does. So that is a little bit of a bummer, but again, that is more in line with the N line. I have the rear spoiler, of course, which is larger and helps produce a little bit of downforce, as well as aesthetically looks amazing with the triangle center brake light. In terms of seats, they will be a mix of leather and suede. Now, if you guys are familiar with the Veloster N overseas got leather and suede, and the Veloster here in the United States got kind of a leather slash cloth type mixture. From the pictures of the Kona N, this appears to be that they will be a higher quality suede than what the Veloster N offers. So this is great to see. The seats will be power 8-way adjustable with power lumbar support. Now this is better than the N line, which does not offer power lumbar. The seats will be heated as well, but no ventilation. I think this is a nice spec for the interior. Again, I don't really need a power seat, but it does provide you with the BlueLink memorization features with the user profiles. So I think that is great to see the power seat. It's basically a memory seat without the integrated buttons on the door. But anyways, that is great to see with the seats. So in terms of the infotainment, it will have the 10.25-inch instrument cluster as well as the 10.25-inch infotainment screen. And this will be also paired with the Harman Kardon premium audio system. So that is great to see. Of course, the 10.25-inch infotainment system does not have wireless Android or Apple CarPlay, so this will need to be a physical connection to use this. But I think the just the appearance and everything with that larger screen is definitely worth the trade-off of not having wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. It'll have dual USB outlets up front, but it will not get the rear USB outlet that the Limited has. So I think that's a little bit of a bummer. Wireless charging and everything like that, of course. And along with the instrument cluster, there will be a whole bunch of N-specific options you can actually change within the instrument cluster, such as your boost pressure, your oil, engine temperature, G-force meter. There'll be just a whole bunch of stuff you can change on the center cluster itself. So I think that is a great way to utilize the customization of a digital cluster, and that'll eliminate the need for a mechanical boost gauge like I have here on the N line. So it'll be right in front of you, right between the tach and the speedometer, or however you set it up. So I definitely think that is a huge benefit to the digital clusters, even though I kind of prefer analog speedometers, but it is what it is. I really do enjoy the N steering wheel here on the N line. This was actually the first N line model in the US to get that steering wheel, and I think it is a fantastic steering wheel personally. I think just the thickness and everything about it is really cool. And plus, for the Kona N, they added the NGS red button on the steering wheel along with the N mode buttons and stuff like that. So I think they made it really cool looking and should feel really nice in the hand. In terms of other features on the inside of the Kona N, it gets the automatic temperature control, the rear seat heat ducts. It does not have vents on the rear console, which this car does and some of the other cars do. I really would prefer rear vents on the rear center console if possible, but the Kona does not have that. Now in terms of some of the driver tech, it will get basically everything outside of smart cruise control and highway driving assist. Now I was kind of hoping that the Kona N, because the buyer demographic might be a little bit different because it's technically a lifted hatchback, I was hoping it was going to get at least smart cruise control for some of the driver tech, but it does not appear so. But of course it'll have lane keeping assist and lane follow assist, so I guess that's something that's better than nothing, but I was kind of hoping it was going to get smart cruise control. Now to go over quickly the looks on the US Spec Kona N, I think it looks great. I'm glad it got the LED headlights and taillights because I think that is an aesthetic thing as much as a functional thing. The base projectors don't really look good on the Kona. I really like the body color trim on the side of the Kona with the N line and the N. And I honestly enjoy the refresh Kona better than the pre-refresh. I've looked at both several times. Even went to the dealer, looked at the N line and the older Kona, and I really like the refresh Kona better. So I really like the Kona N looks. The rear spoiler with the double arch and kind of meets at the triangular brake light, and of course the big round dual exhaust tips I think look amazing. Everything about the Kona N looks really promising to me outside of the price. And to talk quickly about the price, In my speculation, I think it's going to be hard for Hyundai to price this vehicle under what the Veloster N dual clutch currently sits at. But the only thing that gives me hope is that I think the Kona N would be a more volume seller than the Veloster N. That might be weird to say, but you know, lifted, small, compact SUVs seem to outsell three-door quirky, you know, coupes anyway. So I'm thinking the only thing that gives me hope that the Kona N might be priced under what the Veloster N currently is because they might be able to sell more volume. With that being said, I think there's a very small chance of it being under $35,000 including destination, but my fingers are crossed that it will be somewhere around $33,000, $34,000 with destination. If not, I think it'll be about $36,000, $37,000 with destination. Let's hope it is under $35,000 with destination, because I think once you get past that point, I think these things are going to be harder to sell. I definitely think people will compare them with other vehicles in other segments, and it'll be a hard sell. And I definitely think it'll be a sweet vehicle for the N brand, and I would love to drive one. So if anybody from Hyundai is watching this and wants to hook me up, I'd really enjoy making a video about it. So with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little glimpse at the US Spec Kona N coming later this year, I believe. So looking forward to seeing it in person and maybe test driving one if possible. Hopefully the dealer markups aren't too much, but you know how that goes in today's world. So with all that being said, please hit that like button if you guys enjoyed this video. I will have more videos coming shortly, so keep an eye out on the channel. But yeah, as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh yeah, and if you guys stayed to the end of the video, I found this on the side of the road the other day, but I can't tell what it is. Let me know if you guys can tell me. I don't know, it just kind of fell out of a truck and picked it up. Looks like a spoiler of some kind, but I don't know. Let me know if you guys know what that is.